This is what we're going to be covering today in a nutshell. So we'll start with introducing database searches. So why are they actually important to do? If you've left university, you're probably, that's it, I'm done, never going to touch it again. But it is a really good skill if you can keep it fresh, set it to your autopilot instead of just going to Google or ChatGPT. You'll be able to find much better articles, more relevant, higher quality than if you're using any of those other more basic searches. Spend some time getting your head around it now, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier down the track. So in this session, we'll talk about PICO questions. So that's basically a research question that contains 4 specific components. So the PICO, P is for population, I is for intervention or sometimes issue, C is for comparator, O is for outcome. So I'll show you some examples of how they all fit together into some common research questions that we may ask in different OT caseloads, and even some examples where sometimes we don't include all those components. So sometimes we might leave the C out. If there's not actually 2 interventions we want to compare or 2 assessment tools we want to compare, it might end up being a PIO question. And then we'll go into the technical stuff. So that's where there's that technical things like truncation and wildcards and quotation marks and the Booleans, which is the and the ors, to join all your search terms together. That can be a little bit tricky knowing which ones go where. So we'll go through some broken down examples of that, but then I'm actually going to pull that all together into a step-by-step demonstration using PubMed. Because if you're a OT student, you probably have access to a lot of other databases via your university library. Even if you work in public health, sometimes they will have library memberships that you can sign up for, and even librarians that can help you to do some of these searches. But maybe if you're a new grad in the private sector, you might be on your own trying to look for some freebie options. So we're going to use PubMed because it is freely available to everyone. Relatively simple to use, just focusing on the basics. So we'll do that. Once we come up with a bit of a search, we'll also talk about some limiters that you can put on. So if you've got lots of different results coming up, like way too many articles for you to actually sift through, then you can add some limiters in terms of a date range. So you're only looking at recent articles. Might be ones if you don't have access to a full library, you might need to go for the open access only ones to start with, all those sorts of things depending on your situation. And then just because there's probably some keen beans that would like to do a little bit more practice, just some suggestions for how you can do a little bit more homework. So a lot to get through. It could hurt your brain a little bit, but let's just see how we go and let's get started.